Disclaimer. The Joe Mobley Show aims to be suitable for all viewers. However, mature topics are discussed. Minors should always obtain a parent's permission before viewing. Families are encouraged to watch together and engage in meaningful follow-up conversations. While the content provided is for informational and entertainment purposes only, it is not intended as professional advice or services. This show does not constitute medical, legal, financial, relationship, or other professional advice. If you require assistance in any of those areas, please consult with a qualified professional. Some viewers might find information, opinions, and terminology used offensive. The Joe Mobley Show is not intended to offend, but rather to inform and entertain. We do not seek to intentionally offend. However, we do scrutinize various events, ideologies, and opinions through a particular worldview. The thoughts, opinions, and beliefs of any host, personality, or guest of the show are solely representative of the individual espousing them and do not represent the Joe Mobley Show or any other individual, organization, company, or group. No one is making you watch or listen. So, there's that.
Welcome back to the Joe Mobley Show. Guys, it's Thursday nights. That means we're live with Outspoken Samantha. Samantha, how are you?
I'm a little freaked out. What was up with that disclaimer?
Well, the disclaimer is it's actually for your show, and my show is on YouTube now as well. But it's at the request of the YouTube terms and service to let people know that we're not responsible for their hurt feelings and that they're free not to watch the show and that, you know, we've got thoughts and opinions and beliefs. Hey, if someone is holding a gun to your head and making you watch the show, get help. I will offer this professional advice. Call 911. What is it? Run, hide, fight, or whatever. do those things. Maybe become pro 2A. Get yourself a Glock. I don't even like Glocks, but for this application, special dispensation, get yourself a Glock and take care of that, and it'll settle the burden for you. It'll settle the burden for the taxpayer who pays some $20,000 to $30,000 per inmate, which is about what we pay per pupil in trash school districts like Baltimore, Chicago, New York City. Anyway, I digress. It's Thursday night. Okay. I'm excited for the show. But apparently disclaimers are good for highly striked shows like ours are.
Oh, Mac, that was like the longest disclaimer. She was just going on and on. It's almost like she was trying to address every single possible like crisis that just having a simple conversation could cause. It's like, I don't know. I feel like disclaimers were like 2 lines like 30 years ago. And now it's like we have to go through every possible mental health, scenario.
Yeah, exactly. 30 years ago, 40 years ago, you could buy a gun in the mail and have it mailed to your house from Sears. Yeah. It's freaking lit. And people, when you say, well, we have a nanny state, they're like, what do you mean? What do you mean we have a nanny state? People's hurt feelings are governing our society. Have you listened to a congressional hearing? People are like, I don't think you should really. Not to be an Andrew Wilson fanboy here, because there are a lot of things about Andrew Wilson I take issue with. It's tone policing. If we could stop doing one thing, if I could wave a magic wand and end hunger and all that stuff, tone policing would be like the first non-life threatening thing on my list.
Yeah. No, it completely blows my mind. But I feel like even our kids, depending on what household they come from a Democrat household, they're being raised to be these little snowflakes. But I feel like even my kids, they're not very old. They are able to manage a wide array of tones from me and from their dad, and they manage not to fall apart. So it just blows my mind that we need this for grown adults, that we have to like take their feelings and their potential outbursts into our hands and be responsible for that. Like, that's not progress, guys. That's a really, I don't even know if that's a step backwards, because I feel like we've never been that way before now. It's just bad. It's a step in the wrong direction.
New phenomenon.
Yeah.
So
So anyway,
exciting.
yeah. That was what your, 2-minute long disclaimer with the British accent triggered in me.
Yes.
Just bewilderment.
Then there'll be these like AI disclaimers. Like, if you guys haven't noticed, yeah, I write email copy and descriptions with the aid of AI. I used to make thumbnails with the aid of AI. I've stopped doing that. Nothing wrong with that, but in case your brain, I don't want to break any laws in California. Actually, I do every day if you're a fan of my Twitter account. But yes, that woman is not real. She's an AI voice. She's a text to speech AI bot.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't like how they make the voices. This is what I don't like. They do this with GPS. They do it with Siri, Alexa, all of the IoT devices that have virtual assistants. They make the voice intentionally robotic sounding because it's supposed to comfort and ease up people. And it's annoying to me. I just want it to sound like a person. Just
Yeah.
sound like a real authentic person that takes the little fake breaths and all that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
Just
I don't know, but I kind of want a difference between like an actual human being versus when we are getting like a generated, fake notification or fake voice. Like, I don't want things that aren't real to sound like they're real. So I don't know.
all right. Well, I guess we disagree. We're not going to have a huge debate about it.
No.
Oh my goodness. I don't know who could take credit for this, you or me, but we've got your first that I've seen live thumbs down on YouTube. So, which is funny because I'm the type of person that thinks that all engagement is good engagement. So thank you, thumbs downer.
Awesome.
But you
Maybe
do
it's
have
my
to.
maybe it's my whiny voice. I had somebody tell me today that I have a whiny voice. I was just like, that's new.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Can't defeat your argument, so just do some basic B ad hom.
Yeah.
That's interesting. The thumbs down. Someone misclicked. The thumbs down is gone on YouTube. Someone must have misclicked and fixed it, but it's still showing on my side.
That's so funny. Hey, you know what? It's like, it's honest feedback. if you need to do a thumbs down, whatever, like, you do you.
Respect for platforms that still have thumbs down, that still have
Right.
dislike. Because I think Facebook got rid of it, and some other platforms got
Oh
rid of theirs as
yeah.
well.
I forgot that Facebook used to have that. I missed that. They still have the angry
Seriously,
face though.
yeah. Seriously, Shelby, you are first. Welcome in. Adam Ant, Imperious, no, Thursday night show is not a call-in show. Actually, I don't do a call-in show at all. But glad that you're having some spirits. And, Adam Ant, what is your choice of gun? My choice of gun is whichever one is closest. But some of my daily carry guns, my wife, for our 10 or 11 year anniversary, she got me, back here, can't see it. Back there, she got me a what are you? A Springfield Hellcat RDP, which I love and I carry all the time. And I usually don't suggest carrying small guns. P365, which is what Eliza has and carries. Aunt knows, my wife. Anyway, she carries the SIG P365. I don't like that gun. It turns in my hand. I can get a good grip on it, but I just don't feel like I have a good purchase. The shield is a decent firearm. I do not carry it, but I just said the Hellcat. The Hellcat is small, but there's something about the grip. I feel like I can get a full grip on it. Otherwise, I usually carry a 9mm SIG, full size. So I think people should carry like a Glock 19 size weapon, like a full duty sized, 15, 17, 19 plus one, depending on what configurations you have. So that is what you can look forward to if you come to our church and are looking to cause trouble.
Love it.
I mean, it's sad, but like, it's true. I'm probably the least intimidating person on our church's security team. If that gives you a picture of what's going on there. I
Oh,
also
that's
see a
awesome.
lot of these guys and one gal at work. And so if you know anything about my profession, it's so interesting. Our church is just kind of just a little church off the beaten trail, but man, we've got some security in that place. We don't want progress. I'm not going to read your debates here.
Did I trigger somebody in the comments?
Yeah, I can never tell if Imperius is triggered or he's a very argumentative person, but he makes a lot of good points. But
Well,
he's out to convert us though because he's Catholic and we're Protestant, and you know how that goes, I'm sure. Anyway, what's going on in your world? You're cranking out A+ content as always, trying to keep up and watch it. I've really been enjoying your lives everywhere. I've listened eating, on the way to work. If I could bring a cell phone into work, then I would be listening. But there's this one computer at work where we can pull up YouTube. People would definitely get pissed if I pulled you up and we were just watching Outspoken Samantha live.
that'd be a lot of fun. Yeah.
How are things in your world?
Good. No, I have been really enjoying doing the live streams a lot more than I thought I would. But I also get a lot of, I don't know, I'm not really sure I have no idea what I'm doing. So half the time, things are just kind of clunking along, but it's fun to talk to people. It's fun to like get that feedback instead, as I mentioned before, instead of just talking to myself. But it's always hard to know what to talk about because there's so many things to pick from and you don't know what people want to hear. And it's like, I don't know, like something completely off the rails or, whatever latest attempt on Trump's life that we should talk about. I don't know. I feel like people are completely desensitized to almost anything. So yeah, I don't know. But overall, things are good. Yeah.
So I will say, I'm glad that you told me to watch that video.
The one of the dad.
Yeah. I mean, I was a little bit triggered watching it. And see, guys, just to keep things authentic, we don't talk about our opinions about the content. We just put it in the planner, just like this story and this talking point or whatever, and it's like ours. So I don't know what your thoughts are about that video, but I watched it. I started watching it and my son was there. I was like, I'm turning this off. I don't want him to be influenced by this man. And then I went.
Were your opinions negative, or were you sad, or what feelings did it trigger?
I mean, here, let's do this one first. We were going to talk about Diddy first, but guys, I mean, quite frankly, I'm tired of talking about Diddy. He's been all over the freaking news. He did it. Everyone knows that he did it. They're going to nail him to the cross. They're not actually going to nail him to a cross. That would be awesome if we brought back crucifixion, though. Talk about some Christian nationalism.
That'd be a great deterrent, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Get crucified in a diaper. That would be great. It's 96 seconds long, but it might be worth it to just let the whole thing play out. What do you think?
That's kind of what I'm thinking. And I do have a lot of thoughts about this video, and it's kind of been stemming just from a lot of the things that I read on Reddit. But I'll tell you about it after, but I feel like you have to watch the whole thing. So guys, just hang in there for about 90 seconds, but I want everybody to comment. Tell me what feelings are triggered in you, because I don't know. This video really got to me.
Okay, so far it looks like Rumble is still working. I think the secret to Rumble is posting one live at a time. I've tried. They let you stage as many as 3 lives. It's always effed up when I do that. Anyway, while we're listening to this, some things that you can do. You can like Samantha's show. You can like my show. You can make sure you're subscribed. These are all things that you can do for free while we're listening to this. Just, I don't know, try not to harm yourself watching this. Yep, here we go.
Had to pull over because I couldn't see through my feelings at the moment. My 19-year-old is home for the summer from college. He hasn't made one friend. He didn't make a friend at school for a year. He hasn't done anything. My 17-year-old is bipolar and has severe anger management issues and has been hospitalized several times through her life, starting at 10. My 11-year-old has anxiety and is on medication. And my 9-year-old has ADHD and ODD. And I've been a stay-at-home dad since January after my business closed. And my wife makes enough that we made the decision that it made sense for me to stay home and take care of the house and the kids rather than start a new business or go back to work. And I don't know how to help any one of them. I don't know how to help them anymore. We've done therapy and medications, and I don't know what to do for them to help them anymore. And I'm so exhausted. And their mother works full time and works really hard for us. And she's exhausted too. I don't even know why I'm making this video. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. I had to pull
All right.
over.
Please,
My 17.
What? Let's see. You guys type your thoughts out. I guess I'll go last. What inspired you to add this to the planner?
And I feel like our reactions are going to be very different because you're like laughing.
Yeah, I feel like they are for sure.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay.
Which is great.
Huh?
Which is great.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. So first of all, I mean, on TikTok, it's not usually men like crying on videos. It's always women crying about something, and I've become completely desensitized to it. So I'm just like, if I see a woman crying on TikTok, I'm just like, whatever. So when I see a man crying on TikTok, feeling the need to pull over in his car and just unload like that, I was just like, okay, to me, that has a little bit more, weight to it than women that do it. But I couldn't help but think, like, how do you end up with 4 kids, all of your kids, struggling so badly? And, to me, it sounds like, from what I can tell, he seems like a decent guy. Seems like he has a decent home. I mean, they're in a 2-parent home. His wife is supporting. They have 1 parent at home. We see so many kids struggling today. And a lot of times it's easy to point to something like, a drug problem, an alcohol problem in the home, like an absent parent, a broken home, something that you can point to and say, this is like a catastrophic event that would cause, that would trigger some of these things in these kids. But when you have something where it's like, this looks like a relatively normal situation, that really it's scary, because the things that our kids are up against these days is, and I hate this word because it's overused, but it's unprecedented, because it really is. And even under the best circumstances, we're trying so hard to keep our kids safe and healthy and have a normal experience. And when I see a family, when I see a dad that seems to be doing a decent job at least, and things still go completely, like they just completely blow up, I don't know what to do with that. And my husband and I were talking about it the other day. I know that a lot of us like to, and I personally point to internet use and social media use and being online. And I think that it really has had such a negative impact on kids in general, especially when I see, kids that have to walk around with their phone and they, have to be on Snapchat and TikTok and all these things. And I mean, it's kind of random, but I read a lot of teacher posts where they're absolutely going crazy because kids catch on to all of these trends and they go into the classroom and they'll use whatever trend they found on TikTok and drive their teacher absolutely crazy and then move on to the next trend. So we see how deeply this stuff is like ingrained into kids. But this isn't stuff that we could have foreseen when social media first came out, you know, especially Facebook, I think was probably the most widely used one after MySpace. And we couldn't have seen the impact that it would have on kids. So now I feel like, how do we unring this bell? Like, you know, if we knew then what we know now, like how much of this could have been prevented? So I know that's kind of all over the place, but it really bothered me. And like I said, how do you end up with 4 kids with such severe issues when like years ago it was uncommon to even have like 1 kid with that kind of a struggle? So I know that's not really like a really, you know, my thoughts aren't really flowing very well, but what
No,
are
I
your
think it's great. I think it's great. I I think the chief problem with this family is this man. I think this man is the root of all of the issues because God is the head of Christ, Christ is the head of man, man is the head of woman, and this guy, where did he go? Where are you, guy? This guy is an abject failure of a man, not because he's overweight. Okay? That's a little piece of it. Like, and hey, this guy, I doubt it. This guy could be like a retired Green Beret. Maybe he doesn't even have knees, and that's why he's fat. But
okay.
Bro, he says at the end, I don't know why I'm making this video. Neither do I. I do not know why I'm seeing a grown man crying on the internet like a baby because he doesn't know what to do. And it's like, what to do is be a man, which doesn't mean the machismo and, no, it means lead your family. It means get control of your children. I know, without seeing these kids, I know these kids. I've seen these kids in the grocery store. I've seen these kids in public school. I've seen these kids at church, the kids that he has. One of the mental illnesses is made up, guys. Oppositional. This is a Joe Mobley opinion here, not a doctor. But what the crap is oppositional defiant disorder? Which, to distill it for you, means that you have problems with authority. You have problems submitting to or being obedient to authority, characterized by argumentative behavior, vindictiveness, often losing your temper, being touchy or easily annoyed, and actively refusing to comply. So this either describes a very pissed off, hormonal, possibly pregnant or menstruating woman, or a child. That's what this.
Drop a thumbs up if you have ODD.
Yeah, Are you kidding? ODD is not a thing. It's in the DSM-5. It is not in DSM-4. It's ridiculous. Just, this is nuts. When I first learned about ODD. And there was also authority defiance disorder, but that's like a different type of ADD. So they didn't want to double up on the same acronym. So I think they actually changed it to ODD type disorders. When I first saw it, I laughed for maybe 3 to 5 minutes. And then I realized that my wife wasn't telling me a joke. And then I got extremely upset. So that's what I think is what's going on with this guy. So his 19-year-old has no friends and he says, done nothing. That's honestly, and the 19-year-old's an adult. That's a him problem. He's so terrible of a father, of a leader, of a husband, that he's not inspired his 19-year-old to do anything. I'm sure that the 10-year-old on the other side of the wall has accomplished more than this 19-year-old. The 17-year-old's bipolar. That might be legit, but I don't know. Medical professionals have got everyone on SSRIs these days. The 11-year-old has anxiety and is on meds. That just shouldn't be so. Guaranteed sleep, diet. Oh, where? Let me pull up this tweet real quick. You can say what you were going to say. I cut you off, but I'll
Oh no, you're fine. I wasn't trying to interrupt. And I completely get what you're saying. And I think that's kind of where I was going with this whole like kids being reliant on devices and social media. I mean, yeah, he's a stay-at-home dad now, but he did say that he was running a business before, and he's only been a stay-at-home dad for the last 10 months or so. So who knows how much of that time these kids were spent either being raised by their devices or going to a daycare, or, you know, how many hours that they really spent together as a family, which I think are all really important things. But I mean, I'm not saying that this guy is like father of the year, and I can definitely see like these feelings and stuff. I just think that there are so many things that like we are just seeing the catastrophic results of now. And all of these, to add to that, all of these things that are meant to help, you know, we're told to go to therapy, we're told to get medication and whatnot, are not actually helping. And if you've been watching any of the Senate hearings, like with Jillian Michaels and Alex Clark, that have been going and talking about like how all of our food is being poisoned, and, you know, we have Abigail Schreier talking about how therapy is actually doing more harm than good. We've gone from allowing like devices and social media to raise our kids, and still doing that, and then when there's a problem, taking them to a therapist instead of like taking control of it in our home. And these therapists, that's what they are not like working to heal people. They're working people to keep your kids or keep your family or keep you in their office longer. So they're like, here's a medication that is going to put a Band-Aid on the issue but not solve anything. Here, how many labels can I add on to make you feel as incapable and powerless as possible, and, you know, incapable of overcoming all of these things? The more things I can add on your plate and label you with, the more you feel like you're hopeless in battling this without me. Like, so I get it. Like, I feel like that's probably a large part of what has happened. And so I think that seeing videos like this and being aware of it is a way to help people see, like, first, don't take your kids to therapy. Like, second of all, like, maybe get them a hobby, maybe get them outside, maybe have them put that device down, you know, have them join a sports team. Like, there are so many things that can be done so that you don't get to this place where you have 4 kids that apparently are all just like completely incapable of functioning.
Yeah, what are the odds? Just
Exactly.
this is
I'm like,
obviously
that's not normal.
yeah, this is a man-made problem, or perhaps a fictitious problem. Otherwise, it's statistically 0 that 4, and he didn't talk about issues with mom and dad. I'm sure they have their own. I mean, he's so strung out that he's making TikToks crying like a big baby on the side of the road. So at least 4 of the 6 people in your home, possibly 5 or 6 of the 6 people in your home, have serious disorders. Give me a break, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. And I understand, like, I really do understand, like, laughing at him. But I also, like, I feel sick when I see stuff like this. And like I said, I read all of these, like, I read on Reddit, I read like the teacher posts and stuff. And I also was watching another video of this girl who's a camp counselor, and she just went off for like 5 minutes about how helpless kids are. Like, they literally cannot do anything for themselves. And she was just like, these next generations are completely screwed. Like, they're just screwed. And teachers are like, they can't do anything. And as I said, they're acting out TikTok trends in class. And it just shows how like influenced they are by the wrong things. But it's like these, I don't know. I guess this is just like a warning, like a wake up call to how bad these things are, and, you know, what this can look like for your family or for your kids if you don't recognize, you know, if you don't see a family that has gone down this path and probably done more things wrong.
Just wild.
Yeah.
This whole thing is wild. I just did a segment this morning. Dr. Lufkin, an actual doctor, says this should be in every medical waiting room. And it says, if your doctor prescribes you medication without first asking you about your diet, your sleep, your exercise routine, your water consumption, whether you have any structural issues and the stress in your life, then you don't have a doctor, you have a drug dealer. And he's absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
You nailed it with what Abigail Schreier is saying. A good therapist within the first 1 or 2 sessions in that getting to know you is asking you, what do you hope to get out of this? Kind of softly asking, why are we meeting and what's the desired outcome? and decent therapists. I think this is in their training. Everyone that I've ever seen, whether they were pastoral or credentialed counselors, and I've seen both, at the end of the session, they say, well, when can I see you next? Or, and if things are going well, then, maybe I'll drop it next quarter or 6 months or whatever, however much time will pass. And if things are not going well, then maybe soonest available or same time next week. These
Yeah.
therapists, like this guy has, like Father of the Year here, guaranteed, they're like, what types of medications can we get you on? They're going to tell you there's likely no way that you're ever going to get beyond these traumas and these issues that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just in it. They are your bosom buddy forever, that you go and see an insurance and pay all this money to, so they can sit. And they're not telling you. Therapists used to say, in a nutshell, you are the problem. You are the person that's present in all of these encounters and interactions that we're in my office talking about. So what can you do? This is a basic Romans, Romans like 8:12 or Romans 12:8. This is a basic, so far as it is up to me, live peaceably with all. This is telling a child you're responsible for your attitude, your actions, your behaviors.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, maybe it's crude to be laughing at this guy. If I were, and hide your children's ears, if this were my friend, actual man, Adam Ant, you could tell them that I would say this to someone at church. I would say, you need to stop being a little bitch and you need to be a man. Because
Yeah.
your family is dying, dude, and it's your fault. God gave you this family to lead them and do you think that this guy will sacrifice and we know he's not providing for his family. He's not providing financially, which is one thing, but he's not providing emotional and spiritual leadership. He's not providing strength under pressure, which is not rightly placed on mom. It's just not.
Yep. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and I mean, my recommendation to anybody who might be experiencing something like this in their family is to increase your faith and make sure that you have your relationship with God and that your kids do as well. I mean, I think that's probably an important aspect to it too, is we see so many more kids struggling. I mean, yes, failures of parenting is a huge part of that, but we've seen, as we've taken God out of society and out of our lives and kind of minimized and belittled that relationship, it's no coincidence that people are just suffering mentally, psychologically, emotionally. People are just breaking down. So I don't think that can be overstated to maintain that or, find that if that's not something that you have right now.
Yeah, our chats are totally different. Nessie says that they can see why he's crying. He feels helpless. But this is a good point. Remembering the leaked Disney exec Zoom meeting, she claimed her 2 kids, 4 and 5, are both trans. So social elites, political elites, but also, I guess, their disciples, which are guys like this. I'm sure he's a feminist and very progressive and all that other stuff. They have a disproportionately high number of all of the newfound, totally normal, not social contagion things. They have it all. A new disease, a new disorder drops, like I'm defiant to authority. So that's called the human condition. A new disorder drops, and they've all got it. They're all just like, yes, give me more, make me more of a victim. I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm basically calling him a beta. Yes, you're right. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I am right there with you. So I wanted to throw that out there and get people's feelings on it. I don't want the next generation to fail as much as people say that they're going to. So let's not let that happen.
So on all things AI, this is just like the most unexpected thing. Like sometimes I'm just like, I can't believe that I'm watching or agreeing with or whatever. And Andrew Tate, guys, I realize that he's a womanizer, he's successful, and he's got like a great body and all this other stuff. Andrew Tate's a loser. He really is. He's a loser. He's these alpha male machismo whatevers. This is kind of not a real man for a whole other set of reasons. But he tweeted this thing. He says, AI is the future. A machine read my Twitter and created this video, made this post all on its own. You need to start using AI, which I kind of agree, especially if you run a business or something like that. You don't need to be bleeding edge, but you do need to be at least tech curious. Anyway, so after crawling through his X feed, the AI made this post and this video on its own. And the post is peak female performance is pregnancy. And this is the video it made.
That's it, Sarah. Try and get your bottom in the bag. You're gonna laugh again.
I put my computer to sleep. I'm going to start it over.
That's it, Sarah. Try and get your bottom in the bag. You're gonna laugh again.
Yeah, Imperious, the world isn't ready for an AIU. So for podcast listeners, it starts out, it's a pregnant woman. She's obviously happy. She's like feeling herself, rubbing her belly, then delivery, kind of that whole struggle, a legitimate struggle session. Cute little baby. Then mom and baby or mom and now toddler are in some kind of bath. Possibly a lake. It shows a picture of her reading to toddler, and he's playing with these beautiful little toys. And then dun dun dun. Then it's this woman, and she's in this dingy looking office with files and irrelevant crap all over, no windows, just like some map, this crappy office, incandescent lighting, and it says, "This could have been you." Wah, wah. And then she's riding on public transportation on the train because she's a boss babe in her big city. It says it's not worth it. And it looks like she's like on the back of the train at this point, which is kind of interesting. Also, shout out for September, last few days of self-harm prevention awareness month. If you need help, if you have those issues, no shame. As an alpha guy, I had those issues myself. Call or text 988 if that's you. And then it says peak female performance is pregnancy. And it's got, it finishes off with the picture of the mom and baby. I gotta say, very impressed. Well done, AI. This AI is apparently smarter than Andrew Tate is, because I have to agree. Motherhood, being a wife, being a mother, being that as her Connecto helpmate, which is not like I need an assistant. It's like I need a life raft, a parachute. I need a life-saving, life-sustaining type of help, like Jesus and his spirit, that kind of relationship dynamic. That's the type of helper that women are. It's not some, clean my shoes and make my sandwiches type role. And well done to that AI. I think it's a great video. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. No, I thought it was a great video. I'm trying to understand why that video would be created in relation to Andrew Tate. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Like, considering his history with women, considering who he is as a person, I mean, I could see that video being made on like Lila Rose or Abby Johnson, or it is obviously a fantastic video. I love peak performance, female pregnancy. I mean, that's a true statement. But
makes me think that only actual females can get pregnant too. Just kind of
I know,
kicking around in my head.
That's weird. It's so weird. Yeah. No, I I love it, but I thought it was a weird statement that you need to start letting AI live your life if you want to get ahead. I mean, yes, I think that using AI is important and understanding how to use it effectively, but having it live your life. I mean, this is obviously someone, I mean, that people relate to or equate with like living in the Matrix. So I don't know if that's what he's talking about, but it just seems like a really strange statement. And it wasn't really like a nod to the video or the content. It was just about like almost monetizing being able to create this before
Yeah.
anybody else. So
Yeah,
it just
that's a
seemed
good
to me
point.
like he was focused on like the money aspect of it versus what it actually made, like the message.
Yeah, that's a good call out. I will say I agree. For Andrew Tate to get that output out of his X, he must have written a very specific prompt. He obviously asked this thing to consider some period of performance, probably not his entire Twitter, some period of months, and expressly told it to make a pro-life or pro-mom, whatever video. It no way. If it if it just is an honest scrub through his account, it would make some super alpha red
Mm-hmm.
pill nonsense that would
Yep.
probably be illegal in most countries. But same thing. I agree on the AI thing. It's not as curious for people in the chat, people, podcast listeners. What are your thoughts on AI? Just raw opinions. We're happy for you all to disagree. Well, it sounds like we disagree minorly, but yeah, I don't think that it's like you need to be living your life with AI. It's like chill, dude.
But
That's
letting AI live your life are the words that he used. So I just thought that was a very
yeah.
strange statement. But I mean,
Yeah.
I have talked a little bit about AI this week with Gavin Newsom banning parody campaign ads. But it was so funny. I just as a side note, I did a real quick video on the Eric Adams indictment this morning and posted it. But as I was like clicking, trying to find the video of his public statement, I clicked on one and I started like recording it and adding it to my recording. And it was it was a parody ad of how he had like driven New York into the ground, and it was just a total mess. And he was being called out. And like, it took me about 30, not 30, it's probably like 20 seconds of listening to it. I was like, I don't think this was his statement.
Was it the Babylon Bee one?
I don't know who created it.
Oh,
It was just when I clicked on it and it started playing, I was like, yeah, I
the
don't think that's what he
Babylon
said.
Bee one is so good. It says
Yeah.
like this is definitely Gavin Newsom, not an AI generator. It's so funny.
Yeah.
But
Oh, that one's hilarious.
I I am posting this video every day.
Mhm.
And don't, not even a shameless plug. Don't even retweet it. Don't like it. Do it yourself. Post this every day that this video is illegal in California. Tag a Californian. It'll be great. Tag Gavin Newsom. Just like I'm waiting for some UK cop to show up at my front door talking about they've got an international warrant for my arrest for something I tweeted. I'm waiting for California Highway Patrol or state investigatory agency to show up talking about hey, you've posted this obvious parody video of Kamala Harris, and now you need to come with us. It's going to be lit. That's going to be such a good
Mhm.
time. Which, and honestly, that's not even a threat. I would go. That's the payday that I'm looking for. I'm the guy.
Nice.
People are like, everyone always says that you're going to sue. I'm literally suing Merrick Garland right now, and it's time consuming and a pain in the butt. I'm the guy. I'm that guy. So, not litigious,
Awesome.
but some of these people, man, I swear.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for some J6 investigator as well to show up. Someone was just reminding me. They were like, man, you've got all these pictures and video that you were at January 6th. Like, a lot of people took this stuff down. I'm like, yeah, no. I will bleed and fight and die before I take down tweets because I'm cowering about places that I went or things that I did, like standing around, taking selfies and eating a hot dog. Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and I mean, it's so funny because I will admit, I mean, I live in Texas, so that gives me some comfort. but I do sometimes have a little bit of hesitation about some of the videos that I post. I'm like, I don't want the FBI knocking at my door. Especially the one I posted today about Eric Adams. Like, I specifically was like, this guy could be guilty. I'm not saying that he's not. I mean, he's a slime ball. I completely believe that he could commit these crimes, but the timing is interesting, and people are speculating that perhaps this has to do with some comments that he made about the illegal immigration destroying New York. So I'm like, if I post this, like, calling into question the agenda of these people, I don't know.
I
Like,
missed
I
that
don't.
one.
Yeah, I just quickly posted it this morning, but uh,
Honestly, if you've not seen an Outspoken Samantha video, they're very good. Hey, look at this guy. I know this guy. That's I'm happy with the new thumbnail template. If you guys have opinions, I'd love to hear them. I did not come up with this. I totally ripped it from What's Her Face, whose content I love, and she's on a hiatus because she's taking care of sweet little baby.
yeah.
So
I just have to say, little side note, nobody cares, but I hate making thumbnails. Like,
there are a lot of content creators in the audience. The struggle is real. They
I
care.
hate making thumbnails, like, because you get everything edited, ready to post, and it's like that last little thing, and you're like, this is either gonna make or break the video. Like, all of that hard work I just did, it's not gonna matter if I don't have good
Look at
thumbnails.
that. Look at
Aw,
that. Samantha really nailed it with her thumbnail. See?
thank you. I appreciate that. That helps me to know that the work, it's worth it, because it's literally my least favorite thing to do, but it's a
I
necessary evil.
told Samantha at least a year ago that her thumbnails were just objectively better than mine. And the big temptation was for me not to steal your template. Since I've known you, you've had like 2, maybe 3 different templates. And I've just been like, oh, dang, this is so good. Like, I could do this. But I'm like, you can't steal her thumbnail template. But I can steal What's Her Faces,
from a woman
baby.
who's on maternity leave?
Well, I did 2 things. I shot her a message first. And I asked a number of other content creators, and they were like, we all decided that it was fine. You can get a lot of stuff just by asking. The indigo blue, or no, the music by Psychic Type that I use for that one video. Instead of going through, it's like impossible to get music licenses unless you go through the big agencies. So the creator of the music, like, his email was on his SoundCloud, and of course DMs are always open on Instagram. So I just shot him like a 2-sentence thing on both on email and on IG, and he got back to me and was like, yeah, he gave me a perpetual license. Like, I got it from the creator of the music. So yeah, you just gotta ask for stuff. Anyway, What's Her Face did not care. She did not want me to use the same colors as her, which I did not. Hers are black, green, and yellow, and mine are purple, yellow, and black.
Yeah. No, if you scroll back through like all of my videos, my templates have changed so much. I look at some of my first ones, I'm like, I should probably change that. Like, it doesn't look great, but it's fine. It's been my channel has been a progression, that's for sure.
The worst thing is when one of my videos shows up in your feed, because your thumbnails are so good and my thumbnails are so random that it's really like, which one of these things is not like the other? Like, okay.
It's okay.
Anyway, it's a journey here, folks.
Yep.
Grid One says, I use Epidemic Sound for copyright-free music. The copyright-free music is great, and I use that on my shorts. Or I use some licensed music from Toontank that I have a subscription to. But this is like a good song. It's trap music. It's a really good song. It's called Indigo Plateau by Psychic Type. Such a good song.
Nice.
If you're into trap music, I am into trap music because I can work out to it and I can do office work to it. Joe, do you have any kids? I've never heard any in the background, and they're usually loud. I have 5 kids, so 4 of them, they've got these what are these called? Silhouettes in the background that they made me for Father's Day. So I have a 10-year-old boy, an 8-year-old girl, a 6-year-old girl, and about to be 3-year-old boy. And I have a sweet little, well, I can't call him a newborn anymore because is it Thursday? He's 4 months, I think, this
Aw.
week, which is wild, but he's still so cute and squishy. Yeah, so I have 5 kids, and they're generally not very noisy unless they're outside. But they also go to bed at 8, and it's 9:22, so that's a reason that you don't hear them as well.
Yeah.
Did you want to watch that other video? I guess it's a Diddy video. It's a bit longer, but it lets me speed it up.
The other one that I sent you, or which one?
Yeah. Well, with the guy talking about celebrities and Diddy and all that whole thing.
Well, it was relevant to the Diddy topic that you put in the notes. So if we want to talk about P. Diddy first and then play some of it, it was relevant, and I thought it was really it's something that is definitely going around on TikTok. So people are kind of wondering about the celebrity response.
Well, I'll put it up to you because I definitely want to do the South Rising Again TikTok.
I will let you make the call. It's your show. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, I think we can do both. I think we can squeeze it in if we go fast, guys. If you haven't heard, Diddy the diddler, his diddling goes all around. Apparently, he's gotten everyone. People are deleting their entire tweet histories and then lying about it, saying they're not. So Usher did this. What's her face? Pink had deleted all but 2 tweets for a period of more. She deleted all of her tweets except for 2, which reportedly are like spam tweets that probably weren't even hers, and they're from more than 5 years ago. So it's funny that they used the sweating picture of him because that's probably what he's doing right now. But without getting into there's so many indictments dropping. How big was Diddy's indictment? It was definitely over 50 pages, but I'm feeling like less than 100. Oh no, his might have been 27 pages. I don't know. Eric Adams has got an indictment. I think it's 50 something pages. Diddy's
it's indictment season.
Yeah. October surprise. Everyone's getting indicted. Someone needs to make an Oprah. You get an indictment.
I know, you get an indictment. You get an indictment. I'm going to do that right now. Not right now, but.
So we'll listen to this. Maybe not. It's 3 minutes long. We might not listen to all of it, but we're going to listen to it sped up. But this guy is spot on about, because this is what I was complaining about on my show, I think Monday, is that why not only are these guys allowed to operate with impunity, and these girls, Ghislaine Maxwell, but why is it that no one is diming them out? Like we're cool, we're friends. If we're at a party and all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to be doing hardcore drugs and I'm selling human babies and you know, I'm a drug trafficker / human trafficker, and I also make child films. I'm gonna call the feds immediately, like right there while we're there.
Yeah.
But in this circle, they're all like, I guess everyone's doing it, man.
It just makes me so angry.
Yeah.
Falling, and this is what you need to be concerned about. We are about to see a huge shift in Hollywood, and a lot of your favorite celebrities are about to be in one of 3 categories.
All right, that might be too fast. Let's
First
try this.
category, which is going to be tried the most extreme in court, are going to be the celebrities that participated in the things that Diddy is doing. So far, we are fairly certain Will Smith has been involved. We are fairly certain that Kanye has been involved. Fairly certain that Jay-Z has been involved. Fairly certain that Usher has been involved. These are all alleged, but I am just saying to you, this is what I am gathering from this situation. This second category is going to be what celebrities knew that these situations were taking place, knew that these illegal acts were being taken place, and not saying a word. Whether they were given hush money, whether they were coerced into not saying anything, whether they were threatened.
So the volume's not super loud, but he's saying there's going to be 3 categories of celebrity social elites. 1, people who are implicit, who are involved, directly involved in the diddling. 2, people who had direct knowledge of the diddling but didn't do anything. This kind of shakeup is about to happen in Hollywood. And then class 3, or category 3, which I think could be pretty awesome, he's about to get into.
Regardless, that is going to go into the second category, and these celebrities are going to be tried too. Categories 1 and 2, careers are likely going to be tanked, if they're not already in prison. Next, we're going to see this third category, and that is going to be the celebrities that are victims to these situations. I am hoping that through all of this and through the rubble, this third category are going to be the ones to rebuild Hollywood and create a newer, safer environment. We saw what Justin Bieber was trying to do with Billie Eilish, and I'm hoping that that is kind of the new area for this situation. Let's talk about Rosie O'Donnell's video.
All right. And then he says that Rosie O'Donnell might have narrowly avoided the situation because she wore the wrong color to one of Diddy's parties.
Yeah.
Psycho.
Interesting. Yeah. I think I don't know if I tuned that part out because I feel like I tuned out a little bit and then talking about how like they were asked to leave this party and I was like, wait, who is he talking about? Okay, so that makes sense. But yeah. These people are disgusting. And I this is something because I did just a very brief video on the P. Diddy situation because for me, like, as egregious as these crimes are, it's the fact that these Hollywood is just the more that comes out, we're finding out that these people are perfectly fine with hiding this stuff, with covering for their friends. And that's not normal behavior. Like, you have to be like a psychopath to do that. But I think there's also probably, I mean, we know that P. Diddy had video footage of so many people that he held over them. So I'm sure that that has a lot to do with why nobody ever says anything. But I mean, Hollywood is just, they're known for either being a predator or hiding a predator. Like, and we should never be looking to these people for any kind of inspiration. And I think, you know, just as a side note, this is why it completely grosses me out that Kamala, like her entire campaign is celebrities, all of them. Like, that's all she uses are celebrities. And the more that we find out about these people, it's like, nobody should be listening to these people for anything. Like, not marriage advice, not advice on life, not telling us what is right and wrong, not education, like nothing.
Agreed.
And it just, it makes me so angry, actually, just to know that this is happening. This is happening to so many innocent people, particularly kids. I mean, Usher was like 13, 14 years old when he was first introduced to Diddy, and Justin Bieber, like, this has completely destroyed him. And thankfully, like, he's had this like beautiful journey back and hopefully he's like recovering and healing. But there's so many different instances where he like just broke down, or he was talking about Billie Eilish in that video. There was the clip of him saying that he wished he could have warned Billie Eilish and protect her from this industry. So you could see that, you know, he's the kind of person that this has really like affected his soul, where there's other people, it's like, I'm not even sure you have a soul. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
There's that weirdness with, didn't Diddy have a guardianship of Justin Bieber for some period of time, which is super weird.
Yeah, well, and I'm like, what parent would do that? But I mean, I know Usher was the one who said that Diddy had like guardianship of him he lived with him for a year.
Usher, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, he lived with him for a year, and then he went to these, like, I think they're called like Diddy love camps for like 48 hours, which is like the same thing that Justin Bieber went to when he was like 14 years old. And I'm like, I have a son that's 13, almost 14, and I'm like, there's no way, like, over my dead body would my child ever be exposed to anything like this.
Call us hyper conservative or whatever. We don't do sleepovers. Just, hey, your dad was on the human trafficking task force. Sorry, you don't get to do sleepovers. Just full stop. Yeah. I don't care who the chaperones are or whatever. My kids go on camping trips. I'm going on the camping trip, and they'll sleep in my tent, or their tent will be right next to mine. I don't do the sleepover thing. Just real quick as a comment, Adamant says, oh, I lost the comment. Is it possible that Adams is a setup because he spoke out against immigration? Absolutely. I was just talking about this on CT's stream earlier today because he spoke out against crime and the gang violence, the migrant gangs. He's brought troops into New York City to kind of stage, I guess, a war in the streets of New York. Our gangs and our military versus migrant gangs. But he definitely committed some of these crimes. I've not read the entire indictment. I read about 14 pages worth of the 57. But I did go to the specific charges because they'll have all these facts, or they call them, what are they called? Particular matters, or just the matters, or whatever. Not a lawyer, don't play one on TV. But they list all of the different facts and particulars, and they'll cite those paragraphs when it gets to the entire indictment is a charging document, but it gets to the charges. There's some summary up top, but at the bottom it gets to the actual, count one is this. It's like wire fraud, bribery, blah, blah, blah. And when it's listing the evidence for those things, it's showing that he took these lavish trips and these upgrades and things, and he lied about it. And knowing how government service works, because I've worked in government service for over 15 years, other people were complicit in those crimes, and he had to tell them, only for 4 years of my career did I work at such a level that someone else filled out my travel paperwork. So for me to commit crimes, because it's all reportable, you have to report on this stuff at least annually, but some companies or agencies have you do it quarterly, where you have to report all of the meals that you had with industry leaders and with politicians or foreign nationals. You have to report all of that stuff. Close continual contact, you have to report any types of trips and flights and hotel stays and restaurant. You have to report all that stuff. It's insanely annoying, and you have to go through training on it over and over and over again because it's ethics issues. There's this thing called the FARA Act, which I forget what it stands for, but it's FARA Act, and it's about fighting fraud and inappropriate.
Isn't it like the Foreign Agent Registration Act or something like that?
Exactly. Nailed it. So because of those charges, we know that he did this on purpose. We know this crime was committed by him. His executive assistant's probably also going to go down for this, or whoever else. The mayor, the actual executive, is not doing the paperwork to commit these types of crimes. They're directing these things. So he's down. And that's just for one of the, I think, 6 counts that he's being charged with. But the wire fraud, the bribery, and the 2 other things in count 1, it's hook, nail, and sinker. Like, they got him.
Yeah. Well, it's almost, sorry, I have a cat right there. It's almost like, and this is just conspiracy theorist Sam speaking here, but it's almost like the Diddy situation where they allow these things to go on so that they will have material to hold over them. And it's like, he said that he knew he was going to be indicted, or, that they would come after him after he started standing up to them. And as we've seen them target Trump, that of course is to make an example of Trump to conservatives. We haven't seen it as much yet with the Democrat side of it, but Trump is to send a signal to us to fall in line, to not speak out and whatnot. But with the Democrat side, it's like, it's a signal to them that even though you have been part of our club for forever, we've accepted you, we've protected you, we will drop you if we have to, at the drop of a hat. Like, we will bring the things that we know about you to the forefront, and we will expose you, and we will put you behind bars if you go against us. So either side, it's both being used as intimidation tactics and control. And so that's kind of where my head went with that whole situation. And I think he's guilty. It's not that, absolutely, if he was committing these crimes, but it's the fact that they had no problem with him doing them until they could use them. Essentially so that they could use these things against him if they ever could, if they ever needed to.
Nasty says, no, not Will Smith. He couldn't be getting jiggy with Diddy. Are they going to indict Trump again for buying some random lady's groceries? I don't think that encounter was recorded, and there's no nexus to tie that action to him doing it in exchange for a vote, kind of like a quid pro quo. He has a reported history of doing this. Trump has done this for decades. He's handed out iPods, he's handed out Nintendo Switches and Game Boys and things. And for decades, he's given people randomly $100 bills. He carries a big bankroll. And that situation is another example of the left trolling and complaining about things that they say that they're for generosity, that the right actually does. And when we do it, they complain and they say it's inappropriate and they do nothing. So Trump goes around and he, I would say, blesses people. I do not think that Trump was this, outstanding Christian man his whole life. Maybe now, after someone tries to shoot you in the face and you're laying on the ground with your head's bleeding, maybe he feels differently now. I hope so. But that is a continual character example of Trump's. He holds his wealth with an open hand for sure. He's probably, for this length of time, this period of time, him giving out $100 bills, he's probably given out well over $100,000 just handing
it out.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, it's interesting. I actually did a video. I don't know if you saw it. Probably about a week ago, where I talked about some of Trump's past acts of kindness. I mean, a farm in 1984 that he heard about on the news that they were about to lose their farm, and he contacted this family and saved the farm for them. There was the girl on the Maury Povich show where he donated money to her after hearing about her story with her illness. Somebody reminded me of the story of Jennifer Hudson after I think it was her brother that was murdered in 2008, and he had all of her family come and stay at one of his hotels free of charge just so that they would be protected and safe. So, I mean, and that's just a few stories. I know that I've heard more, but this is just who he is. And it's not saying that he's a saint. It's not saying that, I mean, I have no doubt that there's plenty of shady activity in Trump's past, but at his core, I mean, I do think that he is a relatively decent person and he really does care about people. I mean, but this woman, she's lucky that it wasn't like Joe Biden walking into the grocery store, because he probably would have told her to give him $100. So
oh, wow.
It would have had the opposite effect. But I'm just, this is normal behavior for him. But to the point where, Democrats are getting all mad about this and trying to say that it's some kind of like violation. The thing that they're really mad about is that, for one, this humanizes him, and that's the last thing that they want. And secondly, the more, that people can see his true character and his kindness, the worse that they look. So,
yep.
So
and what are they doing? What are they doing other than complaining?
Yeah. And calling us a threat and saying that we're the problem and that we're dangerous and all these things. Like, that's all they're doing. It's like, you're not doing anything besides making things worse.
Good evening, Digital Mining Solutions. Thanks for joining us over on Outspoken Samantha's channel, where all of you have liked and subscribed because you're not watching for free. I mean, it's a thumbs up. Like, it costs you nothing.
Yeah.
All right. So I will finish the show out on this, guys. You heard it here first. Joseph, I'll leave out my middle name, Mobley, because I'm still that intensely of a private person. Yes, my internet birthday is not real. That is made up. No, it's not. It is real. And all of my guns, except for these 2 prop guns, were lost in a boating accident. Joe Mobley, the original uncloset conservative, I am calling for the South to rise again. Apparently, it will be kind of an awesome thing for the Confederate States of America to get the band back together. This hilarious TikTok, which I found on X, because who retweeted this? James. Oh, man. Pletchard?
Sure. Great.
Yeah, 2 posted it out. And
can you imagine if the Confederacy reunited today? 11 states from Texas to South Carolina would break away to form.
Very glad Virginia made the cut here. I'll say that. And Texas. Yeah, we could be part of the Confederacy 2.0. Maybe we change the name to like Republic of America or something.
A new nation in the 21st century. With over 110 million people, this new Confederate States of America would rank as the 13th most populous country in the world, and its economy would be a global powerhouse. Led by Texas and Florida, the Confederate economy would boast a GDP of over $6 trillion, making it the 3rd richest country on Earth. Its military, with nearly 700,000 active personnel, would outnumber the forces of France, Germany, and the United Kingdom combined, making it a major player on the world stage. The capital of the Confederate States of America would likely be either Austin or Richmond for historical reasons. So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, my thoughts are freaking awesome. Just to recap, 110 million population. That's the 13th. That would be the 13th most populated country in the world. A GDP of over $6 trillion, making it the third richest nation in the world. And we would balance the budget because we're not leftist and stupid. As it stands right now today, a military of over 700,000 active duty personnel, which is larger than France, Germany, and the UK combined. For those people that are like, you can't have this little tiny nation, it would fall, it would fail. No, it wouldn't. Florida would stand on its own. Texas would stand on its own. I think Virginia could possibly stand on its own. And the coup de grace, Virginia made the cut and is a contender for the capital. And so would Texas. Austin or Richmond. My vote is obviously for Richmond because reasons. But as an idea, I'm pro. I got to say that I'm pro. Guys, let us know what you think of the chat. What do you think of it? And I know the South rising again. It's a joke, guys. We're not white supremacists here.
Like, everybody calm down.
Yeah, take a breath. There's someone at YouTube who was getting ready to just nuke the whole thing. Take a breath, okay, you blue-haired liberal. It's fine. This is a joke.
No, they're just going to clip it to be like, to the point just before where you say it's a joke.
The South will rise again. That's what my byline's gonna say.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, look. I mean, I definitely see the argument for it. It's almost like the secession argument. Like, we need to just like break off and have our own country, which I have mixed feelings about. I feel like there's pros and cons, but yeah. I mean, I don't see the downfall, the negative. I was just trying to think, like, what could go wrong? Like, we could have our own border. You know, we've got our ports. We could bring in supplies. We've got oil and gas. We've got everything we need. Like, why do we need the rest of the country?
We don't. We need to. It's not a national divorce. That's not how this works. But if we could just take our ball and go home, that's what it would look like. I think we should. And guys, yeah, other states would be welcome. Oklahoma would probably be down. So would West Virginia and Kentucky would probably be down. Oh shoot, what state is right there? That's not Mississippi? See, this is my American education failing me. There's Oklahoma right here. This would make that Arkansas. You guys can't see my mouse. You can't see my screen, so never mind. Yeah, that's Arkansas.
Like, I can't help.
Right,
I don't know.
So Nessie NG, if Mobley was a bad boy, his rap name would be J-Mob. Funny story, I used to freestyle almost daily, like most black kids from Long Island. And guess what my nickname was? It was J-Mob. And it came back when I was in the jail as an employee. I was the deputy, not the inmate. And I would freestyle with some of the inmates. And they too called me J-Mob because my name placard said J Mobley. My other nickname from my youth was Dark Nasty, and we'll just leave that one for another show.
We're gonna have to do a whole segment on that because I need answers.
Joe, read the lyrics. The South would rise. If the South would have won by Hank Williams Jr. I'm not going to read the lyrics now, but I did listen to it the other day. It was a hilarious song. I'm just landing the plane here, so if you have anything that you want to shout out, then feel free.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like my brain is just overwhelmed right now. So
has this week been like is it me, or has this week been like unnecessarily rough so far?
I don't know. I feel like every day it's just getting through one day at a time. Yeah. I don't feel like it's any more rough than normal, but how concerned are you about November?
Oh, come on. Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you mean exactly? Oh no, I posted. Why did it post as you? That's weird. That comment on Nessie is not from Samantha. It's from me. That's so weird. Look at this. I didn't even know that
Weird.
was a thing. Yeah. Identity theft. No, I don't know. Everyone knows I'm a little bit black pilled on elections. Am I going to go out and vote on election day for Donald Trump? Yes. If he's still with us. Again, I can't be convinced that elections are legitimate, because if they are, then we traded fast, cheap, and simple for slow, complicated, and expensive. We traded, a single day for election season, election month, and we traded having results in 6 to 10 hours to 6 to 10 days or weeks. It just doesn't, no one can make that math make sense to me. So if that's what you were asking, then yeah, kind of the same.
Yeah.
I think the government, I think the nameless faceless leaders are going to keep the illusion going, because once larger numbers of the people, instead of random black guys complaining on the internet, once larger numbers of the citizenry realize that their vote doesn't count, realize that it's all a charade rather, then things are going to be bad. This is the same House of Cards situation that that China has as their certain things about their power are just illusory. Russia has the same thing, as we've all kind of criticized their military might as being kind of illusory and a joke with the Ukraine situation. The United States has some issues like that of its own. Our military is actually a straight baller military. It just depends on the leadership and how they use those resources. But our government, our infrastructure, our power grid, our election system, all of those things are not what they appear to be. So, yeah. Do I think there's going to be fighting in the streets and stuff like that? No. I think the wildest scenario, this is the wildest scenario. The wildest scenario is that Joe Biden resigns 5 to 10 business days before the election. Kamala Harris is installed, because they love installing candidates, as the 47th president of the United States. And then all of this verbiage that they've been laying the foundation for, unburdened by what has been, that's been predictive programming, messaging, anything people say over and over. It's not just stupid. It has impact because you're hearing it. They've been saying, not the joy one. What is the other one? They've been saying we can't go back. We can't go back again and again and again. So for her to be the president from, say, first week in November to the third week in January, I could see there being a situation where the Democrats famously do what they always do. They do exactly what they accuse the right of doing, and they don't turn over power. And they say, we've sworn an oath to the Constitution to protect against all enemies, foreign and domestic, so we are not going to allow a fascist dictatorial Trump into the White House. And Kamala just usurps the presidency and stays in the White House on January 20th. Which would be wild. Wouldn't that be wild? She becomes president because Biden resigns. Trump wins the election, and then she doesn't hand over the keys to the kingdom.
Yeah.
It would be like a freaking soap opera. It'd be so good.
I mean, I hadn't really thought about that, but honestly, that sounds like it would be the most likely scenario to me, because guys, I'm not trying to sound pessimistic, but they are not going to let Donald Trump back in the White House. They are not going to let it happen.
Yep.
So I don't, and I think that's probably where most of my worry comes from. Like, I know things are going to be chaotic. I would love to think that, I mean, there is a level of comfort that comes from Trump winning the election, but I don't think that is going to be, this obviously it's not going to be a uniting event, but it's not going to be the answer that we all think that is going to be. That he's going to win, and suddenly, everything just kind of starts to go up and up, whether it be this slow, gradual thing. Like, I don't know.
Mobley just laid out a new Netflix show. It's actually an old Netflix show. They did this in House of Cards, where Frank Underwood's wife, who's completely unqualified, she's literally the first lady. And I remember seeing our first lady lead a cabinet meeting, even though she doesn't have a freaking national security clearance or a job. She's the first lady. Anyway. This has literally happened in House of Cards. So maybe House of Cards ending will be real life. Adam Ant, I did see the gay platoon. Their words, not mine. I did see the gay platoon video and where they're that platoon. I actually have a short form video coming out about that very platoon this week because it pissed me off. It pissed me off something fierce. Oh my gosh, freaking soldiers! I am so glad God took the army from me. I wanted to wear the uniform until they asked me to stop coming. And he shut every door conclusively. One of my commanders was a Wiccan, and she was like trying to destroy my life and career. I got all these injuries. I lost the use of my right arm for like 18 months. It was wild. I'm like, okay, I get it. I'll go to Nineveh. I'll leave the army. I get it. And anyway, that was January of 2020. And then, of course, COVID kicks off. So... yeah, not my army either, my friend. It was, have you guys seen this super gay platoon thing? I'm not going to pull it up now because it's late and I'm tired. And I didn't just, be glad you can't smell me, guys. I didn't shower today. I've been so busy that I just started going at 6:30 and here it is, 10 o'clock.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I have like my, you can't see them, my Transformer pajama pants on. That's what I was wearing this morning, and I was like, I don't have time. I don't have time for this. So
yeah, I'm rocking joggers. I was in a meeting with my actual team today, and one of them, she just like called me out. She was like, "You look a little." She didn't want to say rough, but like I haven't shaved. I'm like wearing a t-shirt and a hat, and I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm usually a little more put together than this, but it is what it is. Well, guys, that is the show. Thanks for watching. If you're still here, then you are a fan. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all the things. If you want to become a member, you can do that by going to thejoemobleyshow.com/join. $5 a month. Here, I'll make it so it's not on your face. $5 a month. You get the mug, you get the t-shirt, you get the premium content. This week's member-only show is actually tomorrow. If you would be so kind, if you got a phone, a laptop, a smartphone, tablet, whatever, then subscribe to the podcast because the podcast is the thing, for whatever reason, that really sends the reach out there. And I don't care, whatever. If you want to support the affiliates, there's like a bajillion of them down there. Pick one that you like and buy something. It'll be great. Samantha, you got anything?
yeah, I mean, definitely go over to YouTube and Rumble under Outspoken Samantha. Subscribe to my channels. Also follow me. I have a bigger audience on Facebook, but I am trying to move people over to Twitter. So please go to Twitter and follow me there and interact, ask your questions. Join my live stream Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m. And then, of course, I'm always here on Thursday evenings, 7:30 Central Time at 8:30 Eastern Time with Joe. So it's a good time.
Woo! Guys, that's all we got. We will see you in the next one. I will see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern. And yeah, bye.